Fellas, I am back once again. Today, we've got a slider that saddens me to talk about, and you'll see why. It's the X3 by 3DX. I believe this is a Chinese maker. And let me just start off by saying I really like this thing a lot. However, I don't think I can recommend it because there is one fatal flaw. So, first of all, this comes in the fancy play setup, right? Where one half is 2-click, one half is 3-click. And honestly, I think this slider does it really well. I can't do any of the fancy play stuff. However, I do like a nice 2-click slider, and when you go on the downward slide and that just straight up and down, it is essentially a 2-click. And as you can tell from the outside, this is 3D printed, and it is sliding very well. If you know me, you know that that's usually not possible. Well, the cheat code here is these Teflon, I guess, stickers. Dude, more makers need to do this right here. It's amazing. 3D printed makers, take notes. Heck, everybody take notes. I bet this would work on a lot of things for sliders because this feels phenomenal to slide. Now, the thing about this is that it's clearly designed to be modular, right? Matter of fact, let me show you what comes with it. So the package is this really nice little, here we go, really nice little tube thing that's also 3D printed, and it comes with a little top that screws on, and you have a bunch of stuff in here. Now, I didn't organize this stuff very well at all, so let me try to remedy that. Yep, so it comes with an extra set of these Teflon stickers, which is really nice, and you get a whole baggie of stuff. You get a magnet polarity tester, you get some spacers, which I think are probably for weakening the magnets. You get a bunch of extra brass weights, you get extra screws, a couple of extra magnets. So, if you get all that, what's the deal then? It's meant to be modular, it's great, right? Well, here's the thing. You could include as many parts as you want and make it as modular as you want, but when you're screwing down into PLA or PETG or whatever this is, screwing down into plastic, basically, it's not going to last. I was being extremely careful, and I stripped one of these threads, and a screw wouldn't stay in there. That's why I can't recommend this thing, because it's a great design, feels great out of the box, but if you take this apart, you risk breaking it. Luckily, I didn't strip the threads on this side, but this side is cooked, and you've noticed already that there's no screws in there. Well, I just super glued this top on, so now this half is never going to be modular again, which I'm okay with. I like this setup that it came with, but if you don't, and you don't want to risk messing it up, then that sucks. You know what I mean? With how easy that thread stripped, it's a shame, because this is such a banger of a 3D printed slider. It moves really well. It does my basic tricks. Again, I don't know any of the fancy play stuff. The sound is so satisfying too. Has a good size and a good weight, because that's one thing I forgot to mention is these little brass looking pieces in there that you see. There's actually just a ton of brass weights in here. And there's 3 spots on the top where there's indents and then extra little brass weights as well. And they sit, I'm pretty sure, inside the plate here. So that's actually how I glued this side, is I took the top off and I put super glue in the indents where the brass weights go, and I just plopped it on there, held it there, and it's still crunchy, still has the stuff shaking around. Now when I did open this up, there's stuff rattling around in here, so it is crunchier than it was out of the box. So let me compare the size. So wrapped light is a good comparison for size, because it's very common. A Saab Slim. And let's also grab some weights. 55 grams. Again, golden weight in my opinion. Then our comparisons. My Saab Slim is only 32 grams. This is basically the lightest setup you can get. The good old wrapped light at 75. Then we can grab a TPU wrapped light. That should be about 35. Yeah, 36. So yeah, I suppose if you don't want to modify this thing, I could recommend it, because like I said, it's so smooth. And for my fellow acid hand havers who make all plates stick up, these Teflon stickers do absolute wonders. So it's not, plate on plate action, and the haptics and sound is just really nice. They also do make a spinner version. That's why there's a circle here. There's a version that's like also a spinner, which I think would be really cool. Yeah, there's not really much more to say. I hate to go and give it kind of a thumbs down because I really like it. If you could put metal threads in here somehow, boom, good, perfect. Well, not perfect. Nothing's perfect, but that's the main problem it has. And then you could modify it until you're freaking blue in the face with all these extra little doodads they give you. Also, I have no idea where you can buy this. If I find a source, I'll throw a link in the description in case you do want to check it out. Non-affiliated, of course. That's about all I have to say about this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.